Hello, everyone. Welcome to Heart Center Tarot. As always, my name is Marina, and I will be your guide for this portion of the journey. So let's take a look at the upcoming Canadian election, which is next Monday, April the 28th. I'm recording this on Tuesday, the 22nd, and just did a show a while back, Taco Tuesdays with David and Gary. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Great show. I always look forward to doing that show with the boys. So one of the things that I did bring up during that show was that apparently over 7 million Canadians have voted early, which is a record. It's, if I remember correctly, I think it's a 25% increase in early voting. So I think that bodes well for the election itself. So the reading that we did on there was how are Canadians feeling about the election, and it looks like that they're, people are paying attention. Even those who up until now might have been a little complacent are realizing that we've got a front row seat to what happens when you're complacent, what happens when you're not paying attention to what's going on around you. So I'll start off by just, again, taking a look at the general energy of how are people feeling about this election? What are they thinking about this election? Okay. And we start off with the Knight of Cups. It is people are emotionally invested in the election. They can see what happens with governments when they don't function properly. Like I said, we've got a front row seat to what's happening south of the border. So yeah, people are being they're a lot more engaged. They're thinking about their decisions. They're paying attention to the information that they're getting. And with this card, sometimes you have to be a little careful in terms of you don't want to have that knee-jerk reaction. You have to think longer term and down the road. And that is crossed with the Ten of Swords. If you don't participate, if you don't do anything, we could be experiencing a lot of the same things that are happening in the US in terms of getting people in power that really don't deserve to be in power. They are they're trying to sell us something that we may not necessarily want to buy. Okay. Bottom of the deck is Temperance. Decisions have to be made logically and intellectually rather than emotionally, right? So, in terms, think in terms of, well, I don't like Trudeau. You don't have to. He's not prime minister. He's not running. So, let go of that. Well, I don't like Trudeau. And I will just remind folks that Trudeau held Canada together and got us through the pandemic. Yeah, entertainment purposes only. So anyone who received the CERB payment, which is what kept Canada afloat, they didn't ask you when you applied for that if you voted Liberal or Conservative. So if you voted Conservative and you think that Trudeau has put us in a very bad position and he added tremendous amounts to the debt and so on and so forth, my comment to you would be, in that case, I assume that any money you receive from the government, you returned immediately on principle alone because you didn't want to add to the debt. If, however, you accepted that payment and you continue to accept that payment, you don't have a leg to stand on. My personal opinion. Okay. So in the we have in the past, we've got the Empress. Things are going pretty good. We had, and we still do, we have a lot of benefits in Canada. We have a social safety net that, for the most part, ensures that people are taken care of, right? So we need to preserve that. We need to think about that. The current situation is the Knight of Swords. The look at the facts. Look at the truth about things, not the talking points. Not the Pierre Poilievre talking points of axe the tax, build the homes. He very much is Trump 2.0, and we don't need Trump up here in Canada, right? We do not want to be the 51st state. Thank you very much. Okay. The overriding energy is the Queen of Cups. Yes, paying attention to emotions, paying attention to the kind of country that we want to live in, to the kind of reputation that we have around the world. Most countries see Canadians in a very, very positive light. It's one of the reasons that when people are traveling, especially from Canada going to other countries in the world, you'll notice that a lot of them make it a point to have a Canadian flag, either on their backpack, on their T-shirt, somewhere so that they can be identified as being Canadian. Otherwise, people mistake us for Americans. And if they mistake us for Americans, then the treatment that we receive isn't so great. So, and you could always, it's funny sometimes to watch when you're dealing with people in Europe, South America, anywhere, outside of Canada and the US. And when they ask you what part of the US you're from, and you say, "Oh, I'm not American, I'm Canadian." Oh, okay, yeah. All of a sudden, the conversation changes, the mood changes. They're very glad that you identified as Canadian. So that is kind of keeping in mind that this is the how we want to present ourselves to the world. We are generally very, very kind. We do not draw a lot of attention to ourselves. One of the things that you won't hear at a lot of stadium events is anyone chanting Canada, Canada. We just don't do that, right? It's kind of, no, never mind. I'm going to keep that thought to myself. Okay. So the lesson to be learned is the Ace of Wands. There are a lot of good ideas that might be floating around. There's a lot of information that's floating around. We have to be discerning in what it is that we pay attention to. Um, we have to move forward with that. Um, the intention of that fire energy, that energy of I desire. These are, the things that we want. We want to have a country that is inclusive. We want to have a country that is progressive, and so on. And the final outcome here is the Page of Pentacles. Okay, so we're kind of letting our values um, speak for us, right? It's not a case of if you get something that I don't get, it means I've lost something. No, that's not the case. It's, well, we like to help people according to their needs. So I think the overall energy is, yes, people are paying attention. They do not want to see um, the same outcomes that are in the US happen here in Canada, because we're not the US. We're different, much different. Okay, so take a look at the energy of Mark Carney. What does his energy look like over the next week? And for those of you, if there's any doubt, let me put that to rest. I am not a conservative. I do not vote conservative. I'm not very pleased with the current leader in the province of Alberta. So yeah, you won't see me at any conservative rallies. I do tend to support Liberal, even though I live in a province that is predominantly conservative. So it's a cross I bear. I don't mind. Okay. So Mark Carney. What's Mark Carney's energy right? Right. What's his energy like right now? Okay. The Five of Wands. Yeah, last minute internal discussions. How are we going to go forth there? They do realize that they have an edge in this election, and it is him trying to hold on to that edge. There are some people who are a little dissatisfied, which is generally what happens. These are young energies. They're kind of batting around their wands, but they're not really paying attention to what they're hitting. They're just out there doing that. So yeah, he's dealing with a little bit of pushback from some folks. Doesn't feel like anything major. And okay, and that's crossed by the King of Cups. Making decisions and going forward to the betterment of the country. Mark Carney is not, I wouldn't say he is an overly emotional person. He's an economist. He's a numbers guy. Who do you want to lead the country out of possible tariffs and the financial challenges? You want someone who knows about money and who knows what to do. So he is, a lot is riding on this election for him. And I think that he has stepped out of his comfort zone in order to run that. So, he does have those days where he kind of wonders if this is right. Um, the six of cups at the bottom of the deck. The 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 wanting the return to nostalgia, the wanting things to go back to a kinder, gentler place. Um, One of the things that during the recent French language debate, um, Pierre Poilievre was saying something, and Mark Carney cut in. And when he cut in, he stopped himself and he said, "No, I'm going to be polite." So yeah, it's a return to that, the concept that we can have diametrically opposed views about any particular subject. That doesn't mean that we need to get angry, that we need to wish ill on the other person simply because they disagree with us. It's through disagreement and talking through disagreements that I think we learn the most. So, you know, I'm always willing to change my mind about something. If the information is there and I hadn't considered it, I'm certainly willing to look at it. And I think that yeah, Carney is kind of along the same lines. Okay. In the past, yes, the Four of Pentacles. He he did a great job in getting us through some very financial rough times when he was the governor of the Bank of Canada. He did such a good job that he was hired on then to be the governor of the Bank of England. Um, and that position historically has been held by someone who is British. So the fact that they hired Mark Carney speaks volumes for his abilities. So he's able to rely on the things that he has done in the past. He does have a good track record. The current situation is the Nine of Swords. Um, he is worried that he's able to connect with people, that he's worried that he might be coming across too much as a numbers guy. um and we all tend to worry a little bit. So he's that it is something that he is considering. Right, this is an election. Nothing is for sure, not until that lady sings. Okay, so the overarching energy is, I love this, victory. Victory. The Five of Wands. um, Being able to kind of take a bow for a job well done. So I'm very glad to see that card come up in this position. So the lesson to be learned is the Three of Pentacles. You put together a plan, and you work on that plan. And it's funny, I remember hearing a phrase many years ago, and it's always stuck with me, and that is, most people don't plan to fail, they fail to plan. So he's been in some um, turbulent financial waters in the past, so he has something that he can rely on, that he can go back to and say, okay, this is what we did then. So the final outcome is the Knight of Pentacles. The being concerned with the health of the country, being concerned with the values, and holding on to um, the values that the country has. So I do like his cards. Okay, so let's take a look at the cards for Pierre Poilievre. And just want to remind folks that the offer was made to all the leaders of the opposition parties for them to get security clearance so that they could receive information from CSIS, which is kind of our CIA, if you will, in terms of people who are running for public office and whether or not they have been compromised or exposed and whatnot, so that if there's going to be problems in an election, that you can deal with them before they happen. All the party leaders went through that process except Pierre Poilievre. If you're not committing a crime, you don't care that there's cameras in every street corner, because you're not committing a crime. So the fact that you don't want to go through that security check and so on, just makes you wonder. Okay, Pierre Poilievre, what is his energy like over the next week? What's he doing? Well, the Page of Pentacles. He wants you to concentrate on how much money he's going to or he's promised to save Canadians. And yeah, this is about Canadian values. It's just amazing that the Canadian values that he speaks of tend to mirror American values right now. And most people are not, most Canadians are not identifying with that message. And that is crossed with the Five of Swords. That, he is a career politician. He's working on winning at all cost. Whatever needs to be done, he's going to do it. So, you want to hear certain things, he'll tell you those things. Okay, the bottom of the deck is, well, the Six of Wands for him as well. The bottom of the deck is he really wants that victory. He really wants to be the next prime minister. He's got an agenda that he wants to put through. Interesting. Okay. In the past, yeah, there's decisions needed to be made in terms of how the Conservatives are going to go forward and what it was that they were going to offer. Right now, I'm trying to find the platform of what the Conservatives stand for. You'd be a little hard pressed. Okay, so yeah, in the past, people were making decisions. He was making decisions, trying to kind of advance himself forward. The current situation is the King of Wands. If I just continue to say the same thing over and over and over again, people are going to believe me. So I will say whatever I need to. Interesting. Okay. The overarching energy right now is the Eight of Cups. Walking away. being able to turn your back on things. So that could be his making a decision about walking away from politics if he doesn't get into power this time around. It could be he is walking away from some of the things that he says that he believes, and might want to change his mind. But there's something that he is that he's walking away from. Okay. And the lesson to be learned is the Queen of Pentacles. To make sure that your financial house is in order, make sure that your values align with what it is that you're doing. People often don't necessarily listen to your words, but they will watch what you do. They will watch your truth is going to show up in your actions more than your words. So, this, I think, is a caution to pay attention to the values, right? Okay, and final outcome is the Death card. I don't know that he's going to do that well at the polls. I think that there is every possibility now that we will end up with a liberal government, and perhaps with some of these cards is him deciding that maybe politics isn't really his thing. He's never done anything except be in politics. So he knows how the game works. So okay, well, based on those cards, even though that they both got the victory, I think that this is that this could be the party, Conservative Party, even contemplating that if Poilievre isn't able to win the election, replacing him. So it could be the end of his sort of tenure, if you will, as leader of the Conservative Party. So we'll see. Time will tell. Time will tell. By this time next week, we'll have a good indication of where things are, and I'm hoping for a good outcome. So thank you for indulging me with this. And I will see you guys throughout the week, and I will see you on Saturday for the Shine Your Light event. Don't forget to please like, share, and subscribe. And if you're interested in booking a private reading with me, you can email me at heartcenteredtarot@outlook.com or visit my website, which is, here you go, marinasheartcenteredtarot.com. And you'll get all kinds of information on there. You can take a look at the classes and all kinds of different things. And read the testimonials. They always make me feel really, really very happy when I'm able to do a good job. Okay. Alrighty. So thank you all for listening, and I will catch you later. Bye for now.